Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, No More Sleeping on the Job, Simple Steps and Tools to Enhance Employee Retention. I am so excited today to talk about this subject. It is something that is really personal to me as an entrepreneur and as we at Circle are trying to build our culture and keep our employees excited and happy about this engagement movement that we want to start. So today, I really hope that you find as much value as I have in really learning how to take the communication side of things and really make it personal to your employees. Before we get started, I want to go over a few housekeeping rules. The If you have any questions throughout the entire webinar, we want this to be interactive. So feel free to write a message in the chat box. And if you have any technical difficulties, feel free again to put your question or whatever you're just struggling with in the chat box, and we will get right back to you. This isn't your typical webinar. None of our webinars are. We really try to keep them moving. We know you are underwater and are very busy, so this webinar is scheduled to run about 20 to 30 minutes. We will take live questions at the end if you have any, but certainly jump in at any time that you have a question. So let's first talk about this subject of employee retention. It is definitely a problem. $11 billion is lost annually due to employee turnover. And each of these slides, by the way, if you are working in HR in your company, feel free. We're going to send you a follow-up email with a link to this presentation deck. These are all slides that sort of empower you and give you ammo to make a case if you're trying to go back and say, hey, we need to really ramp up our employee retention strategies. The next one, companies with engaged employees outperform those without by up to 202%. So if you can engage them, it is huge. It's a huge game changer for your company if you can find that secret sauce on how to engage your employees. It's expensive to lose employees. It can take as much as 2 times an employee's salary to replace them after they leave. A lot goes into training, as you well know. So it would behoove an organization to really think and to invest time and thought and strategy and dollars into their employee retention strategy. Now, your employees, again, we're going to tackle the communication side of how you're internally communicating and engaging your employees. But there are reasons why your employees are tuning out. And I'm not sure if for those of you in the audience today, how you're communicating with your employees. It might be via staff meetings. It might be via email. You might be sending an internal employee communication. It's important that you become aware, are they opening it? If they're not, why are they tuning out? And to really dive deep into that data to discover why. It could be that they perceive that it's not relevant. It could be that they think it's too frequent. You're sending them too many things. Or it could be in a wrong style that they don't prefer. I know when I would even work for a public sewer utility, some of our guys were out in the field and it was tough for them to even access their email. If we could have sent it to them via phone on their mobile device, that would have been a better way to engage them. They're not going to come in at the end of a long, hard day and want to open up their email and check it, even if the benefits enrollment information, which is relevant to everybody, is in there. We would even have the wives of these guys call and say, where's our benefit enrollment information? And we would say we sent it via email. So even important things they're tuning out. This is a problem. So if we dive deeper into this, people are frustrated, not only externally, but internally. Employees are sort of feeling out of touch that the content that you're sending them doesn't match their interest. You might be think that the American Heart Association relay run is going to get everybody excited, but if people aren't into running, then maybe that's why they're not signing up. So to really become aware of what are these employees' interests. The other issue is, in addition to their work outside of where they work, they are getting on average 88 emails per day. They are underwater not only at work, but when they get home. So the last thing that they want to do is open up an email that's not relevant or not meaningful to them. So this is something that we're battling. The other issue is that you may have a gamut of demographic issues. You may have everybody up north of the baby boomers down to the millennials. And the millennials like to communicate in a completely different way than most generations. They are used to this Netflix and Pandora, my movies and my music. And so they are really annoyed if what they're receiving, particularly from their employer, who they assume knows them, if they're getting sort of what they view as junk in their inbox. So is what is a person to do? So really the thing that you have to keep in mind is that when you are hiring, it's really not about that person's resume. It's really not about you or the company. It's really about the person's passion. So at Circle, the first interview question that you're going to get when you work with us is, what do you do in your spare time? And if it is anything outside of what your job is going to be, then you're not a fit. So if you're going to be a coder for us, right, or a software developer, and you say that photography is your passion and what you want to do in your spare time, then we're going to tell you to go do photography. So you really want to make sure that out of the gate, you are hiring people that even in their spare time, whatever they're doing for your company is something they would be doing anyway. So to really start unearthing and uncovering that passion is important. Your job as the leader, and if you are in HR or if you're in communication, you have a great opportunity to lead in a way that the late Stephen Covey talks about leading, where leadership, again, is not about you, the leader. It is about your ability to make the other person see their strengths so clearly that it's undeniable to them. So this is big, that if right out of the gate, you don't know what the passion is of the employee that you're hiring, that's a big red flag, and that's a miss. And that's right out of the gate where disengagement and the seeds of disengagement are being planted. So this is something to really be aware of. The next one is first impressions count, right? So you make that hire, and even that first welcome email is important. So simple things, and these are things that are often missed. That later on when employees talk about their experience, like, I didn't know where to go, I didn't know what to do. All of these things matter. So, and we'll even send you a sample of our welcome email that we give our employees the week before, but we let them arrive at 10 a.m. and I tell them out of the gate, you know what? We don't want you fighting traffic. We know you're going to be nervous the first day. Why put the employee in that position anyway? On your first day, it's a 10 o'clock start time, right? This puts them at ease. They'll have enough time. They don't have to drive to your place of employment during rush hour. And I realize that some of these, might not be applicable, but the principle is to really think about that employee. And right out of the gate, you have an opportunity to make them feel at ease and to sort of treat them like you would one of your customers, really rolling out red carpet. Make sure you provide directions and parking. Do they need a parking pass? Is it a drag to get to your place of employment? Is there a way to make that easier? Can you give them a map? So these are all things that sort of add to the stress of someone's first day to get to your office. This one is really important. Attire. I know at our company, depending on your role, different attire. Our software developers are going to be in t-shirts and shorts, but our salespeople might be a little bit more business casual. So to let everybody know that attire depends on your role is important. I know our founder, he generally is in t-shirts and shorts, and sometimes we've even made the mistake of doing interviews, and the college student or whatever will show up in a full suit with a tie, and then they're met with our founder who's in t-shirts and shorts. So that moment is a little bit awkward. You want to try to avoid that. Food is a big deal. So you want to address the food situation. Do they bring their lunch? What's the culture of your company? Is there places around your company where they can eat? Do you have team lunches? Is there a refrigerator there for them to put their food in? Do they need to pack a cooler? All of these things matter. And we always try to do a first day welcome lunch. So again, that's one less thing off the employee's plate that they have to deal with. or we'll try to do some sort of lunch where they can meet everybody and get together with the rest of the team. Things to bring, again, in our culture and in our work environment, earbuds are important. We have an open office environment. So what about your environment that these employees will be working in? Do they need to be aware of? Is it a healthy environment? Does everybody bring a water bottle? Whatever it might be, make sure that you include that in the email. And make sure you give them an insight to what your office culture will be. So the more information that you can give them, the more prepared that they're going to feel. And even a nicely laid out email like this sets the tone. It sets the tone that you care about the details of these people and that you're going to set them up, on their first day for success. The other thing that you can do is let all of your other team members, all of your other employees know that this person is coming, and maybe even go so far as to say, hey, why don't you send them a welcome text, so that they're even before their first day getting text from other team members. Hey, we're so excited to start. Can't wait to meet you. This really makes them feel welcome. It's all about how that employee is going to feel and how they're going to feel valued even on day one. The other thing that you want to make sure that you're doing is celebrate their talent. We give a daily MVP award. What does this mean? Your name gets written on a dry erase board, or it's just called out. When an employee does something extremely valuable, very specifically, we call that out and give that person the award for the day that makes them feel like and understand that they know that what I did and my talent and the value that I am bringing, how it is accomplishing the difference that our company is making, that without them, we would not be able to do that. It's important that that's not at the end of an award ceremony at the end of the year, that is a daily, reoccurring, top of mind sort of thing. So the next thing is, with all of this, and sometimes I understand there are some folks in our audience today that have short staffs. How do you know and keep up with the ever-changing interest of your employees? I mean, some employees, they're going to go through a lot of different life changes. They're going to get married, then they're going to have young babies, then they're going to get older, and you'll have new moms, and then you're going to have empty nesters, and people's interest change constantly over time. How do you, as the employer, I mean, these people spend most of their life and most of their day with you. How do you know this? How do you know what they truly care about and are interested in? So what we try to do and what Circle thinks about, not only engaging external audiences, but internal audiences are huge. They're key to the vitality and the vibrancy of your organization. It takes it from just you surviving to the company really thriving. So we're getting into the part of the webinar where we really share how our platform that we have built sort of closes the gap and makes this really easy for you. Again, we're tackling this internal communication part and piece of internally communicating. So I know there's lots of other pieces, but we try to tackle this communication piece, this event piece, so that you know what is resonating, that you know what the interests are of your employees, and you can tap into that. So here's how it works. Our solution is we've developed an automated personalization technology. So this is how our platform works. So you can see on the back end how we can do all these things that you're supposed to be doing, but with less work and to save you a bunch of time. But on the back end, you're going to look like an HR rock star, okay? Or if your job is the internal employee communications coordinator, everybody is going to love you at the end of the day. Here's how it works. We're going to take all of the content, all of the great stories that you're posting, really giving voice about what the employees or what different departments are doing, or what the company at large is doing, or what the industry that you're in is doing. We can take content from any source, wherever you're posting it, external sources, social media, we're going to grab it. And we're going to read each individual story or post, and we're going to decipher, what is this about? And then we don't stop there. We're going to cross-reference that with the individual interest of each employee. And I'm going to show you how we grab those interests here in the next couple slides. So all on the back end, all automatically for you. There's this personalization engine that's being fueled. Your content being tagged is the first one. The second one is we are going to ask your employees, what do you care about? I mean, can you imagine onboarding an employee and their very first day they get an email from you that says, hey, we really care about you. Tell us what you're interested in. Tell us what you're passionate about. And they can pick up to, one of 20 topics or several topics. You get to pick the 20 topics that they can choose from of what they would care about. Then we ask them, when do you want this information? Again, it's all about them. This whole process helps enhance your your internal brand, your culture. Then we ask them, what format do you want it in? Do you want it in a traditionally laid out newsletter, or do you just want the headlines? This gets into the millennial population. So we're really personalizing this information for each individual employee. Now, some of your employees are going to go through this process and some of them won't, right? Hopefully all of them will, but if they don't, we use behavioral analytics on the back end to track what your employee is engaging with. What type of stories are they clicking on? And so they might not tell us, hey, I love our work that we're doing with the American Heart Association, but everything about running and our 5K that we're doing, they are always clicking and liking and sharing. They're always engaging with that content. So we know we better start to include more stories about running for this in this person's feed, because everything they're telling us is that they love everything about running. So we implicitly learn about what your employees are engaging with. And then they can follow certain people. So depending on how you use the platform, some of our organizations allow different departments to post. So I can follow certain departments in my feed and really decide how I want to engage with certain people. So this is how it looks. We also do a lot of work with universities. They are also using our platform to communicate internally with all of their faculty and staff. They're also using it to communicate with their alumni. So here is 3 different people. They have 3 different interests. The first person is innovation history, and he wants to follow faculty member Gary, right? And the second person, she has some similar interest, but she also likes 3D printing. So if you lean into your screen, you'll be able to see that the story is first for her, but it's second for the first guy. And that's because that story matches more of her interest. So we're going to order that with what is the most engaging piece of information that is relevant to this employee. And we're going to order their communication in that way to get them to really lean in and to start listening to what the company is saying. That's constantly going to help you make good on your promise to build the trust that you're trying to build with them offline. This is going to help continue to enhance that trust online. And the third employee, he's interested in 3 completely different things. So his news is going to look completely different. But the key is when they start listening, then everything they get from you, it's almost like a little holiday gift that I can't wait to get my news from my company because I know it's going to be about things that I love and that interest me. I know my company loves me. I know that they know what I care about. So when you do have that really critical piece of information about, hey, it's enrollment benefit time, now you can push that. You still have all the control and everybody will see it. So we have a great onboarding system. Again, you can pick the types of topics that they can choose to care about. It's very simple for each employee. They can choose what schedule works best for them. Again, you can set that default, but if they want to override it, they can do that. Like, no, I want it at 8 a.m. right when I get in. Or, no, I'm a night owl, I'm at 11 p.m. And then they can choose what style works best for them. Some people like, I just want a quick headline so I can just skim through it. Some people want that traditionally laid out newsletter. The point is they get to pick. So what they see is all of this amazing content, but it's ordered in a way that I'm going to get the things that are most engaging to me. So it all looks really great. It's all very responsive. Again, you maintain all of the control. It's all coming from you. It is all your brand. If they pull it up on their phone or their tablet, it all looks really good. Nothing really looks wonky. So here's where we really start to close the loop and where the magic really starts to happen. You might only have a few pieces of information about the employees in your company, maybe name, address, date of birth, address, all that good stuff. But what we do is we fill in the rest of their personality so that they can start to really become the largest version of themselves in the environment that you're providing them. So if their interests are, I love the American Heart Association, I love golf, I love running, I love cooking, and then we can put all of those interests back into whatever back end system that you might be using on an HR side of things. So your list now becomes from just sort of an employee demographic sort of informational list, it's really transformed into this really rich asset database. So if you're planning that golf outing or you're considering planning a golf outing, you can now search who is everybody in our company that loves golf. You might discover that 68% of our employees love running. Maybe we need to be doing a 5K. Maybe we need to be doing a running club. You might want to do a chili cook-off. Who are all the great people who love cooking in our audience? And really start to reach out to these people in their full talents and their full passions so that they can really start to feel valued in all the other ways that make them who they are. So I might be a customer service person, right? All I do all day is listen to customers and try to make them happy. That could be very draining. So, but yet if on the side I really am this amazing chef, how amazing would that be for that to be highlighted some way at a company event? And how great are you going to look that you know that about your employee and that you can reach out to them and engage them in ways that are meaningful to them. Again, for you to build that internal brand here at our company, you can become the largest version of yourself. It's going to make them happy. It's going to make them feel valued. It's going to make them really feel good. The other thing with our insights is we're going to show you who is the most engaged employee and, more importantly, who is the least engaged. We're going to show you their engagement over time. So you might see that, Rob, the guy that, works in the mailroom has been really, really engaged, but for whatever reason, now his engagement is waning. What is that? So this can be a predictor for is somebody getting ready to leave or something happened to this employee, and you could be able to reach out to them and re-engage them because you're going to know how to do that because we're going to tell you what their interests are. We're also going to tell you each piece of content gets its own engagement score. So you might think that posting things about a certain topic is really resonating, but maybe you post one thing on innovation and man, everybody really liked that. We're going to share that with you and we're going to decipher that data for you and tell you, hey, you posted that one thing about how you were in the community doing this. You need to post something more about that. You haven't talked about that in 30 days. So we're really going to give you the answers to the test in terms of who is engaging, who's not engaging, and what piece of content is engaging the most in a really easy way with our insights and our data. Again, with Xavier, they've used this as an external and internal tool. They started using Constant Contact. They were at a 19% open rate, and now they're above a 50. They also wanted to see that click-through rate. They were, again, started at a 3.9, and now they're at a 12. I mean, the national average, I think, is 2.9. So this is really, really important data to show that this idea of personalization is working in this environment. And we have over 400 circles. Again, lots of people using this as an external tool as well as an internal tool. I want to point out that click-through rate. Our average click-through rate is 22.9 compared to the national average. And I mention this because even if you don't use Circle, this idea of personalizing the content that you are sending out to each individual employee is really where that expectation is going in terms of the trend in media. And you really need to be thinking about what tools can I use? How can I do this? Can I survey my employees? How can I, as the HR person or the internal employee person, truly engage each individual employee and make our communication tool enhance the culture of our organization? A lot of people ask, wow, with all of that, are you guys like super, super expensive? I pulled this up because we are really affordable. Even if your list grows, we don't upsell. I know some platforms, I mean, my goodness, it's almost you're penalized if you start to engage. We don't do that. It can double, it can triple, and it doesn't go up. We would love to try a free trial, even the value of testing it, to even go to a group of influencers with employees is a powerful statement. Hey, we're trying a new platform because we care about the individual interest of our employees. So even that free trial, we make it valuable to you. It doesn't take a lot of time to transfer. Again, we have a whole engagement team that makes it very, very easy to onboard you and get you going and on your way for it to all sort of automatically work. So if you're interested in learning more about our platform, again, we'd love to do a test with you. We have learned over the years, people are very risk averse to sort of try new software. So we just really remove all of the barriers. We let you try it for free, how long you want to try it, and only until you're completely happy with it do we ever take that next step. So at this time, I would love to take any questions from the audience. The way that we do our question and answer session is it's sort of like when you were in third grade and scared to ask that question. Am I going to ask the stupid question? So we don't ever put anyone's name up next to their question, but we do read it out loud for the benefit of all the other audience members. So feel free, again, we're going to open it up for questions now. And we can see few questions starting to come in. What if we have many locations across the world? No problem with that. You can structure your circle in a way where everybody is in the same circle. We also have a feature where you can segment your circle. University of Dayton, for example, has 38 alumni chapters all across the nation. So you can keep, your current segments that you're in, or you can segment people, according to however you're doing that now with your company. What if my company doesn't produce enough content? Great question. I mean, we have from the large to the small organizations on Circle, and some struggle with that content, that they might be putting things out about employee benefits or about an event we're doing, but how can I come up with really rich content? So one of the ways that you can do that is you can give the ability for other employees to post if you so choose. There's a moderation component where you can moderate them. But this sort of, some companies have done this to give their whole company a voice, or departments a voice. I know when Xavier started to post it, a lot of faculty were like, I didn't know we were doing that. I didn't know that we were doing that at the Innovation Center. I didn't know this was going on, in our health programs. So it really made it easy for people to see kind of what was going on across the different sectors and different departments with their company. The other way that you can beef up the content is you can pull in external sources. So you can pull in industry blogs and expert articles and pull those feeds in. Again, all can be moderated, but you can decide, what is released to your employees, but yet have this really nice looking newsletter with really great content that, again, provides value, because we're going to make sure that the right content gets to the right person at the right time. Can I push a story to the front so that all employees gets it, even if it's something they've listed as something they care about? Oh, even if it's not something, yes, you can. So again, once you get that your open rate and people are listening, now you'll be able to, and you can push stories to the front of your newsletter. You can pin content. You can say, I want our employee annual dinner or arguments to be in every newsletter at the top for the next month. So again, as a communicator, you still maintain all of that control. What if we would be posting proprietary info in our newsletters? How do you protect that? Everything is private in the internal communication. You can have private circles. No one on the outside can access any of that information. Can I post company events, updates, and calendars? Absolutely. This is also a nice feature when you post events where the employees can then add it directly into the calendar that they're using, so there's no transcribing. It looks like we've got, let's see, any other questions? One more question. Looks like it's about our posting capability to post needs of your company. So you can post a need. Hey, we're looking for speakers in this genre, or hey, we need this many items for our employee event. So you can post updates, needs, events. It's all our content management system works in a way that's very, very simple and very, very easy for you. So I don't think we'll leave it open 30 more seconds for any other questions. However, feel free to email me. We would love to meet you and find out what you're struggling with, really find out kind of how we can help you. We would be more than willing to share best practices. Our team is just super passionate about engagement, whether that be your employees or even your external audiences. It's something that we think about 25 hours a day. Again, we'd love to do a test with you, and we'll send you a follow-up email for the people that attended today. I would love your feedback. We thrive on really learning what resonated from this webinar, what didn't resonate. Again, we'll give you some tools in our follow-up email and a recording to this. You might think, I wish my whole team could have seen this. So we'll send you a link to the recording and also a link to the presentation if you wanted to pull out any slides that you might want to use for your own personal use. So thanks again. Again, be looking for that follow-up email in your inbox. We love, love, love your feedback, and we hope to see you on our next webinar. Thanks so much.